Hello and welcome to the reading of Genesis study, dealing with the sons of Jacob. This is a polygamist story, so if you are against polygamy, you might not take a liking to this story. Everybody can turn their Bibles to Genesis, the 30th chapter, starting at verse 1. I will be reading out of the King James Version. Genesis 30:1. And Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children. Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in Yahweh's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her maid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Yahweh hath judged me, and hath also heard my verse, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. I want to mention what's going on here in this story is that Rachel could not conceive and bear Jacob's children. And notice that Leah was bearing children, and so she decided to give her maid to Jacob, her husband, so that he can have her children through her maid. That's why Rachel is naming all of the children that Bilhah conceives for her. Verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. So now Leah sees all of this action going on between Rachel, Jacob, and Bilhah, and decides, I'm not bearing any more children. Why don't I give my maid to my husband now, so that she can begin to have more children for me? Verse 10. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh. And she called his name Gad. So both wives, Leah and Rachel, are naming the sons who their maids are having for them by their husbands. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And for those who don't know, mandrakes are an aphrodisiac of the times, something that causes stimulation of the libido. Alright, gives more pleasant and sexual urges and desires after eating and consuming these things. And so once Rachel found out about the mandrakes that Leah's son found, she asked for some of his mandrakes. Verse 15. And she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband. And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? So you can see this playful tension amongst the two, because they both desire strongly to please their husband. And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. So Jacob had no refusal, because it was proposed between the two sisters, and that's the way it was done. And the reason why all of this is going on is because polygamy is an acceptable, decent way of life. Just as there's nothing wrong with monogamy, there's nothing wrong with polygamy. And for all of the potential wives out there who may be deciding whether they're looking for a man of the Lord, I say this: Isaiah 4:1. That should be your favorite scripture as well as ours, because it tells you of a time in which men will be so scarce, real men, that there will be a need for fighting over those men just to be their wives. And that's how hard of tribulation and the punishment and the plagues that the Lord is sending upon this earth will be in that time, that it won't matter if he has 1, 2, 17, 35 wives. You'll just be actively participating along with other women in the desire for him to claim you as his. And the scriptures tell you that these times will come. And just as polygamy was once highly acceptable, as you see in this story in Genesis 30, once again, it'll be highly acceptable in the days to come. Lord willing, this video is edifying. Till next time, shalom, kwame shalom.